and welcome to Villa View. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined on the phone now by Aston Villa correspondent Matt Kendrick. Hi Matt.
Hi Paul.
Well, we're going to talk transfers today and also take a look ahead to the Bristol Rovers game in the FA Cup. First of all, just what's the latest on the Robbie Keane transfer?
Well, I know that Villa are interested, well, how should we put it, interested in exploring the possibility of Keane. It's obviously got a break from the MLS season, which resumes again in March. So there'd be kind of an 8-week window potentially to bring him in, similar to Thierry Henry, the agreement that he's got with Arsenal and New York Red Bulls. I know that the tentative talks have taken place between the various parties. Obviously, Robbie Keane is an LA Galaxy player at the moment. I think it's far from being signed and sealed. I think that the main consideration from Villa's point of view is how many games Keane would be available for. I think it would work out at about 5 or 6 league games potentially, and whether the investment they'd have to spend in terms of his wages and a loan fee and various other bits and pieces would make it worth their while. So it's something that's being discussed. It's something that Villa are open and receptive to. It's also something that Keane is believed to be open and receptive to. But it'll just depend on whether something can be thrashed out and an agreement can be reached in the next perhaps week or 10 days, I'd have thought. So watch this space.
Okay, and seeing that it's Robbie Keane, obviously a striker, does that mean that Alex McLeish is looking specifically for a striker or not?
It's an interesting one, really, isn't it? Because we keep talking about Villa having a small squad, and I suppose when you scratch beneath the surface, it is small in terms of experience. But if they were to bring in Keane, even for a short term, you'd think where would he play? Obviously, the manager was unable to accommodate Mark Albrighton in the team that lost to Swansea. And you'd think if Keane was to play, he'd possibly play in the three-man supporting strike force behind Darren Bent, which would then, you know what I mean, it's going to force somebody out. Will that mean Stephen Ireland, who's shown glimpses in recent weeks, no longer has a place? I think these are the considerations he's got to look at, because it's no point kind of upsetting the apple cart, if you like, to bring in Robbie Keane for 2 months if that's going to lead to disillusioned players who are on long-term contracts. So it's something for the manager and the club to think about.
Okay, obviously some interesting things there. Now, you mentioned the Swansea game. Just briefly, your verdict on kind of where things really unravelled for Villa a little bit, and also where they can maybe improve in the Cup for Bristol Rovers.
I think it was just such a crying shame, really, that everybody was buzzing so much after a great result on New Year's Eve at Chelsea that they should come crashing back down to earth with such a bump so quickly. It's a shame, really, that the game was scheduled 2 days later, because Villa could have done with basking in the glory and kind of revelling in the confidence, if you like, for a few days longer. I just think it was the fact that the goal came from such a ridiculous source, really, from such an unforced error within the first 5 minutes, and from that moment onwards, kind of all the feel-good factor turns flat. And unlike against Arsenal, when the fans and the players produced a great response to falling behind, although they ultimately lost that game, against Swansea it was just kind of, oh no, here we go again. And I just don't think that the players or the supporters, for that matter, could summon up the heart to get anything back out of the game. It's grim, really, given that Villa were showing signs that they were making progress with the Arsenal performance, a decent point at Stoke, and a great victory at Chelsea. It's sad that the kind of new year has to be soured by a very disappointing performance and result against Swansea.
And just very briefly to finish the show today, Matt, looking ahead to Bristol Rovers, do you expect McLeish to go with a strong squad for that game?
I think so, yeah. In fact, well, I hope so. I think McLeish will hopefully have learned from the lessons of Martin O'Neill. Sorry to keep harking on about that one, but in Moscow, when Villa fielded a weak team and went crashing out the UEFA Cup, and then Gerard Houllier had his own version last season, of course, when he fielded a weakened team and Villa went crashing out the FA Cup. I think McLeish knows, or has been told, certainly, what this competition means for Villa. It's been 54 years now since they've lifted the trophy, which simply isn't good enough, really, is it, for a club of Villa's size. So I think he'll be doing everything in his power to make sure Villa negotiate what looks to be a very tricky tie against Bristol Rovers in front of the glare of television cameras on Saturday evening.
Indeed, it is going to be a difficult game, and we'll see how they get on there. Matt, thanks for your thoughts today, and thank you for watching Villa View. We'll be back again next week with more from Villa Park.